I want to work on 3 different projects, and I want to start and finish them in one day. So for a lot of you, this may seem impossible just because of the amount of things that are going on. But I wanted to see if I could do this, and so I picked 3 projects that I thought maybe I could do in one day from start to finish. So those projects are end grain coasters, a slimline pen, and then also a wooden doormat. So I start out with a project that is probably going to take me the longest, which also has a couple of glue ups involved, so I know there is some waiting time there. Now, I'm not doing this just to see if I can complete 3 projects and that's it, but I also want to practice my, number one, time management, but also my thinking process. I want to try to use my time wisely in the shop, especially if I'm working on a few different projects at once. So I want to try to train myself to think, what's coming up next. I need to get all of these things in line to be able to go on to the next part in a project if I've got a glue up coming up. So in this instance, and just a few minutes ago, you saw me gluing up what is going to be some end grain coasters. Now that is drying at the moment while I'm working on something else, and so that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. And I just think this is a really good exercise, not only for working in the shop, but also planning out what you want to do coming into the week, or as you're getting done with a project, you're thinking about what can I be doing next. So you may not necessarily be working on something physically, multiple things at once, but you may have a lot of things going on mentally that you need to get done, and I still think the same principles apply. I know my narrative here is a little bit different than the normal video, but if you are interested in seeing or learning how to make each one of these things that I'm making today, the end grain coasters, the wooden doormat, or the pen, I've got a website article. There's a link down in the description of this video that you can follow and read that article, and I go into step-by-step how to create these 3 things. So if you're interested in that, check out the article. But if you're interested in this experiment that I'm doing, I'd love to hear how you deal with working on multiple projects. How do you deal with mishaps or missing deadlines? How do you compensate for those things? So just curious. I'd love to hear about it. I'm all about trying to improve shop efficiency. And speaking of, one of the things that I've done lately is start wearing a shop vest while I work. It has become part of my routine. So now that I'm getting more towards the end of the projects, like I'm going to start working on this pen because I have put the end grain coasters in their final glue up stage, and so now that's drying while I'm working on the pen. The doormat is complete, and so that's done, and so now I can try to have fun with this pen and just really just take time to let the glue dry on the end grain coasters. So I'm kind of, if you will, unwinding, I guess you can say. Working on the lathe to me is kind of like just therapy. Just something about it. So anybody that doesn't turn may not understand, but a lot of you guys that turn know exactly what I'm talking about. So this kind of project works well towards the end of the project, for me anyway, or toward the end of the day, because it just fits. So now that the coasters are all dry, I can start working on that. Again, the pen at this point is complete, and so now I'm just wrapping up the end of the day. And really, I've learned a lot in this process or this experiment, because I've learned to, number one, I'm not saying that I've mastered it, but I have learned that I need to manage my time a little better. And the different things that I'm working on, like glue ups or whatever I'm doing at the assembly table, why not have everything there that I need to complete that particular task that I'm doing instead of running around the shop. And that's one thing that the vest has done for me. I have a lot of the different things that I need right there on me, on my vest, and so that's why it's become part of my routine in the shop. So getting down to the end of this day, I'm putting the pen together and I'm going to be done. So it really has been a good exercise for me to do this. I really want to encourage you guys to do it. If you guys take me up on this, tweet me, get on Facebook, send me a message, leave me a comment down in this video, and let me know that you're going to do this for yourself. And I want to hear about it and see how well you do and the things that you learn. But also, I want to tell you to, if you don't mind, please subscribing to my channel so you don't miss any future videos, and check out the link in the description for the website article.
Hello, my name is Jeff Mertz, and I'm a design editor here at Wood Magazine. Today we're going to talk about an outdoor server that we have featured in the July 2008 issue. What you'll find is a very simple to build cedar project that'd be great in a 3-season porch or sitting out on the back patio. It's built using some very simple materials. We just bought a couple of 4x4s, some 3/4 inch or 1x dimensional cedar, and some 5/4 cedar decking material, and put it together with some screws and some simple techniques that you could do on a router table or a table saw with a dado blade. A couple of the things that we get often asked is, how do you guys make your projects look so nice when the cedar out there is very difficult to come by, that has lots of knots? And what you see here is there are knots, several of them, and just by sorting through your wood and trying to find the wood that has really tight knots will yield success. What you want to try to avoid is knots that are loose, because they will fall out over time. On the top here, there are a few small knots, but I reserved some of the better cedar for the top parts. I really wanted to make sure that anything that was going to get direct water resting on it during the summer rains and drying cycle would stay kind of knot free. Another thing is for the legs. We picked one good 4x4, and I was able to get all the legs just by ripping them down and cleaning up. Was able to even remove some knots that were in the 4x4 as I cut up the boards. You'll notice that it has some aluminum edging down here. It's just a good place that, you know, when you're standing there, if your foot was resting up against it, you wouldn't, you know, mess up the edging of the cedar. Plus it adds a nice little design characteristic similar to the bar stools. It's very simple to build. The top has a little groove cut in it and little stub tenons and some little filler parts. You just make a long filler to fill up the grooves that go between each slat. A couple of the other features that I kind of want to show off on this is, aside from the simple construction, when you turn the server around, you have the business end. It's great because you can store your bar stools in the back. It'll hold 2. Another feature that you really can't tell unless you reach in and pull the shelf up, and it just has some simple hardware to provide a serving area. You know, you can put cups and napkins and maybe have a place to store a cooler down below when you're entertaining. But otherwise, when you're done, you slide your stools and slide it up against the wall, and it doesn't take up so much room on your deck or patio. I hope you have a chance to build one of these if you're up to it. It's a good exterior project because it kind of shows you into the way of maybe elevating your skills a little bit if you're used to building maybe 2x4 or rough cedar construction projects, but this is a simple kind of step up to the next level. If you have any questions, email us at Wood Magazine, and visit our website at woodmagazine.com. Thank you.